family, and finances.
So be sure to log on each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. to catch Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR.
Tune in.
What's up, everybody? What's up? We are back. This is
Yes.
Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR. I am, of course, JR. At least I was the last time I checked.
Yes.
My beautiful and lovely co-host and daughter, Charlie, is to my right. How you doing, Charlie?
Good. How you doing, Dad?
I am above ground, so it is a good day. I have no complaints.
That's right.
None that anybody wants to hear anyway.
That's right.
So,
yourself.
so how was your day?
My day was good. Been having fun all day, reading, learning, out and seeing all the beautiful things that's in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So it's been good. What about you?
Okay, it was
You were outside too today.
Yeah, it was. I was out. Well, I was outside some. I was inside a lot. I actually had a doctor's appointment today. Let me segue that into encouraging.
Oh, yes.
My people, especially black men, to go to the doctor, get yourself checked out. It's better
Exactly.
if something is going on. It's better to find out early than later.
True. To have those conversations about your health.
Yeah.
I know a friend stopped by my house today before I was coming up here. And they saw some vitamins, a supplement on the counter. And it's just good conversation and it's important,
Yeah, supplements. I believe supplements are important.
Yeah.
By the way, let me say hello to the TikTok and the Facebook family out there.
Yeah.
How y'all doing?
Yeah.
But I believe supplements are important because there's a lot of scientific data that shows that the food we eat doesn't really have the nutrients in it that is on the packages in most cases.
Right.
Unless it's organic, and even then,
Yeah.
But definitely this the run of the mill stuff really doesn't have the nutrients in it. It says on the package that was grown in a sterile environment, with the best of conditions.
Right.
And actually, the food we eat a lot of the time isn't grown in a sterile environment and under the best conditions. So.
Right. And I would even say that the supplements, I had to be smart with the supplements and realize that everything didn't need to be a gummy.
Yes.
Because gummies, have sugar in them.
Well,
and so while they're putting, all the things in the gummy that you need, it comes with a lot of sugar. So,
dye, and petroleum.
right.
Actually.
And so, right. So then
Yeah.
it doesn't do as good. So I was like, oh gosh, I got a gummy for the cranberries. I got a gummy for my collagen, I'm like, I got my gummy for my women's vitamin, I'm like, I got all these gummies. And so it's a lot of sugar. And I thought, okay, Charmaine, you're overdoing it with the gummy. So I kind of, so let me go ahead and go back to the form. Now, granted, if you have to have a gummy, you have to have a gummy. But then when you start looking at, again, what all you're taking
Right,
in,
yes, yeah.
you kind of have to decide what's going to be best for you.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
maybe that supplement is not doing you good.
Exactly.
if
But
it has
what
all the sugar.
Yeah. And what you eat is very, very important. So just let me again encourage you to eat healthy as you can, and go to the doctor again. Just get yourself checked out. For example, I found out today that my blood sugar has gone up from my last visit.
Mm-hmm.
It's not scary
You're
high.
so sweet.
But
My dad's so sweet.
but I found out that my blood sugar has gone up from my last visit. So I know that I have to whatever I've been eating that's sweet, I have to watch the carbs and watch sugar and eat more salads and stuff. So so it's good to know that it was going up so I can do something about it before I go in there and they're like, well, no, we gotta put you on insulin now, and
You're
so
like,
yeah.
no.
Yeah.
So those things, are definitely fixable and correctable.
Yeah,
for sure.
So again, just encourage everybody out there, just take care of yourself the best you can and get yourself checked out.
Yes.
I want to go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. I want to say that Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR is brought to you by I guess two
things.
sponsors and
That's
even
right.
three now.
Yeah.
Firstly, Kiss Wealth Now, taking care of not half, not some, but all of your commercial and residential real estate needs. Tell them how to get Kiss Wealth Now, Charlie.
So you can get Kiss Wealth Now if you Google Kiss Wealth Now, all together, I'm going to pop up. You can call me, 214-738-4913. Also, you can apply online 24/7. I don't know where I get 21 from.
Your days are
21,
shorter.
do something for me. So 24/7, exactly. I work 21 days a month. I'm just teasing. 24/7, Kiss Wealth Now. And have any questions, want to know how you can get in the game, what it takes, something that has nothing to do with Kiss Wealth Now, but just people need to know about. Dallas College got $3.5 million for funds for talent. And again, talent is education. And those fields that they're looking for is, construction, engineers, HVAC, all the things to support all the businesses that are here and coming here. They're trying to skill 1,900 people. So I keep telling people, they think, there's no jobs. There are plenty of jobs in DFW market. And maybe if you're not skilled, now I just let you know that you can go get some of that free education, because $3.5 million, they're giving free education to people who can be the talent needed for these corporations coming.
There you go.
You heard it from Kiss Wealth Now.
There you go. You heard it first from Kiss Wealth Now. That's right. And remember, Dallas College. So
Yes.
Go get some of that.
Go get you some education.
Education. That's right. So also, we are coming to you from our new sponsor, for which we are so appreciative.
Top Notch Sports.
Top Notch Sports. I
Yes.
almost messed it up. Top Notch Sports.
And they officiate.
Yeah, they officiate games on what level? Is it just is it college?
School, yes. Just school level.
School level?
Yeah.
Okay.
So high school, middle school, elementary. Anybody that has games and has a need for games, they will officiate
Have a
those
need for
games.
officiate.
Yes. So that way the coaches can coach. And preferably the parents can parent
Yes.
themselves.
That's right.
In the stands. and let the officiators officiate the game.
There you go. Let the officials officiate.
Yes.
So again, we are very appreciative to Top Notch Sports. If I understand that they are looking for people to train to be officials, referees.
Yes.
So if someone was interested in becoming an official, a referee with Top Notch Sports, how would they do that?
They would reach out to us, and we would put them in contact with the trainer.
Okay, well, since you said reach out to us, let me just say that Speaking the Facts with Charlie and JR, we have a Gmail email address that you can contact us through. It is just like Kiss Wealth Now, all spelled together. So you just kind of, just kind of put it all together. It is speakingthefacts@gmail.com. So that's SPEAKN, speaking THEFACTS, speakingthefacts@gmail.com. So
Yes.
if you are looking to learn how to officiate games, send us an email and we will get you in touch with Top Notch Sports and
right.
see if we can't get something going in that regard.
That's right.
As you noticed, we had an empty chair here because we have a guest that is coming in, and
And
our
they are
guest,
here.
our guest has arrived.
Yes.
Drum roll, please.
He made it on CPT time. With a little traffic.
With a little traffic.
So, Raymond, thank you so much for coming on such short notice. We appreciate you so much. Oh, what, the mic?
Yeah. You
Okay.
can get a little closer to him. There you go.
There we go. Say something.
Something.
See, he follows instructions well.
I know, right? Okay, that's good. Mic check, we're good?
We're good?
Okay, excellent. So Raymond Eccles Plumbing.
Eccles and Sons.
Eccles and
Eccles and
Sons.
Son Plumbing.
And that's
See?
a big part of the Sons, because the person who started the business was
My dad and uncle.
Your dad and uncle.
Yes.
So that's so important about lineage and training up the young ones to carry on the family business, and that's what's happening here.
Yes.
So you guys have been in business for how long?
I know I've been there 32 years.
Wow.
So I think we started in 1980. My uncle started a one-man company. Then my dad joined in as a commercial plumber. And then together they flourished, and
Right.
I kind of started with them. I started with them. I left my job on a Friday where I was working. That Saturday going into Sunday, my wife had my twin daughters.
Oh,
That
okay.
Monday morning, I started my new job with a new career.
okay,
and
everything.
I've been there ever since.
So how is it coming up in the family business? You know, how's that been?
You know, I started young. Because my dad worked for other contractors, and he would do work on the side, apartment renovations. So I would, at a young age, probably 7th, 8th grade, I was out in the summers doing work with him to that effect.
Happily or
Happily.
happily?
No,
Okay,
happily.
okay.
Because I was making money.
There you go.
You know, we've come so far with that. I
Yeah.
remember in high school, I used to joke to my friends about our service calls were $27 at the time. And I go, you'll be laughing. I said, I'll be laughing when I come to your house for that $27.50, right?
Yeah.
Now, you know, service calls substantially more.
Right, exactly.
So it's been good. But I took the trade up in high school.
Okay.
And then, you know, went on from there to make it
Gotcha.
a lifelong trade.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, and so coming up in the family business has been a good thing.
It's been a really good thing. It's been a really good career. Running a business a lot of times is not what people think. You know, they think you open the doors and you rake in the dough, and it definitely doesn't happen like that. I tell you, one of the biggest problems in business are taxes.
Yeah.
So my dad would always tell me that's one thing he wished that somebody would have taught him. You know, when we got started, about the taxes. The taxes is a big thing. And once you get past that, you can pretty much do well.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about the taxes for a second. How now that you've learned the lesson that your dad learned, what would you suggest on handling the
Pay
taxes?
them.
I know, right?
I'll tell you, one of the things that a lot of small guys do, they shuffle the money. They rob Peter to pay Paul. But the tax man money is the tax man's money. You know, if you got his money, you need to send it to him. The first train of thought as a business owner, or my first train of thought, was to try to make sure your guys get paid. Because if your guys don't get paid, nobody
Right.
does anything. You got to pay those guys. So you'll take the tax man money. And it's not that you're not making money. A lot of times in contracting, because, you know, when you said plumbing, a lot of people always think service plumber, guys that fix toilets, guys that go into houses. You know, plumbing is a lot more than that. I came up in commercial plumbing, and that's why it interested me at a young age, building sky rises. You know, people on the 10th floor, you know, go to the restroom, they have no idea what it takes to get that stuff up there and what's happening underground.
Yeah.
And it's a
Right.
whole different ball game rather than, you know, just fixing the toilet at somebody's house
So
or
you're not,
unstopping.
so your knowledge just isn't dependent on gravity flow.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You got pumps, you got lift stations, you got all kind of stuff.
Yeah, I can imagine that's a lot.
Yeah, it is.
Something being trapped on the 11th floor.
Yeah, that's right. That's
And-
right.
You said the tax man. The song "Taxman" by the Beatles popped into my head. The verse that says, "Should 5% be too small, be thankful I don't take it all."
That's right.
Because
That's right.
I'm the
I'm the tax man.
You know,
Yeah.
so
And he will take it,
Yeah.
man. I've been through that. I've
Yeah.
been through the ups and downs of it.
so
Yeah.
do you set aside a portion of what you make to pay taxes? How do you handle it personally?
Well, I tell you what, when I first started, you know, people always tell you need an attorney and you need a CPA. And when you're first getting started, you think I can't afford that. And guys will tell you you can't afford not to have those guys
That's true.
in
Yeah.
your corner. And so that's what it is. When it finally sunk in that you've got to have these people, you just got to make the money for those guys. And those guys keep me straight. They keep me
Right.
straight. Yeah, they keep me
Yeah.
on track. Because what a lot of small contractors don't understand is they think they're making money and they're not. You know,
Yeah.
just because cash is coming in and going out, if you don't know what's what or who you owe this to or what's costing you,
Right.
you know, cost is the key. You got to keep control of your costs and you got to know what's costing you.
Right.
You know, a guy get $1,000 and he think he got 1,000. Well, you owe 1,200 of that out. And because you have that 1,000, you're thinking, I'm doing good. No,
Yeah.
it don't quite work
It's-
like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not so good, not so bueno.
That's,
Yeah.
ain't
So
that the
then,
truth?
you know, small business, but it has made it through all the seasons and has grown.
It's grown. It's grown. It's grown. Then the economy took it back down. You know, we like I said, I've been there 32 years. We started out doing small jobs. We got into big commercial work. We've done multi-million-dollar projects for the airport. One of my biggest contracts was with DFW Airport when they built the Terminal E. Terminal C.
Terminal E.
Well, you know,
the big
you know they
international
have a
terminal.
new.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, they
That's D,
have
Terminal D.
Terminal D.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and so they're needing a lot of black
They
contractors.
need get your certification. If I had to give a guy advice that want to get into it, is get all the proper certifications because they get a lot of federal funding.
Yeah.
Correct.
And so they have to use,
And they have a lot
certain percent
of
minorities.
and they have
won't-
a lot of dollars set aside
Yeah,
right now
they do,
for that
for
one.
that.
Yeah, because I actually went to the meeting for Arlington.
But where I've seen a lot of guys get fooled on that is that they come in under the impression that they just go out and do their work and then they get the money. It's not like that at all. You got to be prepared. Don't just go out trying to do public work, especially public work of any size, and don't have some type of backing, some type of financial support because
Right.
you could go out there and on the average it's 60 to 90 days before you get your money. So your guy's working 3 months and you buying 3 months worth of material and you don't have any money.
Right, yeah.
You know,
And also, I want to throw out there too, no business is too small, meaning a lot of times,
right.
people think, oh, well, it's the airport. Well, guess what? The people in the airport need uniforms. They
Yeah.
need embroidery. They need T-shirts.
Oh, there's so many
and there's
things
so
they need.
many things that I was just like, wow, a lot of people just, they miss out on it.
Mm-hmm.
And again, all you have to do is have that, make sure your company's licensed, bonded. If it needs a certification, have
Yeah,
a
get that.
certification. But yeah, it can be anything. You could be the T-shirt maker.
That's right.
Yeah.
And getting certifications, most certifications, and I learned it the hard way too, is just filling out forms.
Yeah.
And the thing about forms, you have the knowledge. It's just putting it on the
Oh,
form.
yeah, the way they want it.
Yeah, the way they want it.
And that form is meant to stop people because there are a lot of people who quit on the form. They
That's-
quit
it's
on
a
the form
deterrent, yeah.
before they get the job.
Yeah.
It's like, you know what, take the time, don't quit on the form so that way you can get the things that you need.
Yeah.
Take the time to fill it out. It's as
definitely
redundant
worth it.
as it is,
Yeah.
and they probably can see this and they can see that, but people miss out on the fact that yes, with AI, with computers, people can see everything, but what is it that you're going to portray? And that's why they need you to say the type of person
right.
that you are.
That's
If they
right.
need you to say the qualifications that you have, because again, it's about confidence. They don't want to bring someone on in any field, and you may have the skills, but if you don't list them, that means you're probably not confident
That's
in
right.
your abilities. So that's why you've got to take the time to put all that out there.
That's right.
So something that, because I used to be an HR director, so something that I used to deal with a lot was hiring the right people, because your people establish the culture on your job, and the culture on your job dictates not the quality of work. It dictates how in all aspects the quality, how fast it's going to be done, how accurately it's going to be done, how if there's going to be residual backlash from any work being done, so you guys have been in business again 30 years. How have you managed to get the right people?
That's been one of our hardest tasks. On both sides of it, in commercial work and in residential service work, or any service work, because you just can't grab any guy, put on one of your uniforms, and send him out to represent you.
Especially on the airport.
Yeah, especially on the airport, and then
Yeah.
even when you're sending people in the homes, people don't look at that as being a big thing, but
yeah.
that's the cash cow.
Yeah.
For when you're on the airport jobs and you're not getting paid, and the guy that's going out putting in water heaters, unstopping drains, bringing you the small amounts, well, they add up.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they'll carry you through the hard times. But yeah, just getting quality people. Any contractor, any skilled trade company would tell you that that's one of their biggest issues. One of their biggest issues is getting a quality guy to go out and represent you and to do the work. I always tell guys, my guys are like an extension of me. You try to get guys and you try to train them up, and you try to instill in them to do all the right things. But people are people. And they're
Right.
gonna-
Yeah.
A lot of them, most of them think they're smarter than you anyhow, and they're going to want to do things their way. But if you're building something and you're driving the train,
Right.
they needed to do it the way you want them to.
Exactly.
Right.
Exactly.
And it's a struggle.
So talking about like the skill set and having is there a certification or a degree for plumbing, or is it on the job training? Is it journeyman level?
A lot of it. It's different levels. You have a tradesman. Well, when you get into the license, you have your apprentice license. That's what you start out with. and then you can get a tradesman. Me being old school, I prefer guys to go get a journeyman because a journeyman will let you work on all plumbing. The
Okay.
tradesman only allow you to do residential work. We
Okay.
always say if you're a plumber, you're a plumber.
Right.
Go get your journeyman's license, and then
And
the
how
next
long does it take to
process-
get that?
It takes roughly 4 years
Okay.
to get a journeyman's.
So plumbing is like a doctor.
Plumbing is like plumbing degrees, as we said, because we do our continuing education every year, and the instructors say that plumbing, being a skilled trade, that it's like getting college degrees.
Yeah.
Because in order to get your master's, you got to be in the trade 8
Yeah.
years.
Yeah.
You got to be a journeyman for 4 years,
Okay.
and then you 4 years getting your journeyman. Well, you can go to school and get a degree in 8 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's not, like I said, it's not what people think. The stinky old plumbing, blah blah blah. That is
Where
a
you
part
always
of
show
it.
your crack? Where you always show your crack?
Yeah, that's right. Oh, my guys will do that. That's one thing we still in it. But some guy told us, I remember on the job one day, a guy goes, "Man, none of y'all know how to plumb. Y'all got y'all shirts tucked in. Y'all not showing the real. Y'all not real plumbers." Yeah, the whole image of that. A lot of companies, because if you notice, a lot of service companies, especially the bigger guys, they wear the nice white shirts. And,
Yeah.
they try to brush off that image, but that's just
Right.
the image that plumbers have.
Yeah.
It is.
Unfortunately, yeah.
You're not a real plumber if nobody's seen your crack.
That's right.
Okay, so Birdie told me that you are a master plumber. So what does it take to become a master plumber?
Like I said, 8 years now. I got my license. I got my journeyman
You
license.
could have been grandfathered in.
Well, what I did was when I did pass the test, when I passed the test to get my master's, I got my dad's master number because my dad was a master plumber. Because all of our trucks and all of our paperwork have our master's license on it. So to simplify it for us, unfortunately, the plumbing board would allow us to do it. So a lot of guys look at that number to try to see how long you've been. And of course, mine reflect me being a lot older.
Right, yeah.
So they have a lot of respect when they see the number. Go, man, you've been doing this a lot. Well, not quite as long. But I've been doing it a long time.
A long time.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I've been doing it a long time.
So you're doctor level.
yeah.
Well, yeah, as a plumber, you are doctor level.
Yeah, 8 years.
For me to took it in high school, got my journeyman's license when I was 20. And the reason I went ahead and got my master's license because my dad had got sickly. Because really you don't have to have a master's license to do the work. You have to have that, particularly the contract work. You can't contract work in the state of Texas without being a master plumber.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of guys strive to do it. And in Austin, there's 1 million master plumbers. It's just one-man companies.
Gotcha.
And I tell you, the trade, I can say it is. I've had a good life with it.
Yeah.
I hadn't got rich doing it. I've made a decent living. I've did a lot of things, but I've always enjoyed what I do.
And that's the best part, to
Yeah, it
have
is.
fun, have fun doing what you do, love what you do, and then along the way bless other people.
right.
So you meet people, and in a perfect world, you'll leave them in a better position. So plumbing is definitely I have a new respect for. I mean, I didn't think about pressure pumps and flow and gravity and
Yeah, people don't.
I
Yeah.
just flush the
That's
toilet.
right.
I just
Well, yeah,
turn the lever, wash my hands.
I
didn't
know about the
think-
gravity part. Just from as you probably remember, or you might remember, I used to work at Chevron, the oil refinery in Richmond, California. And so you learn a lot about vacuum and about pressure and about what makes things flow and what pulls things and
Yeah.
Right.
so and a lot of but I did not know about the pressure pumps and all that. I didn't think about what it takes to get water up to the
Up to multi-stories.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then here recently, I learned about, and this is I won't say it's a new problem, but I guess a lot of people maybe don't talk about it. So, obviously, a lot of the homes now have the PVC piping, the newer
Yes.
homes. Well, tree branches are able to penetrate those and grow in
Yeah.
through the PVC piping.
Oh.
So they, in the olden day, I guess they would just die when it hit the cast iron,
Yeah.
but then cast iron rust, and then, then I
Yeah,
guess it can
yeah,
get through it
the-
anyway.
And that
But-
those roots will they will break into the caster, and once it rusts and get the wear and tear on it,
Yeah.
because that moisture will bleed through it. and man, they'll
Yeah,
move a house.
yeah.
I've
So-
seen trees move houses to get
Wow.
to the water.
Yeah. So it's so I just learned that. So I was like, wow, well, how do you do that? So you have to go in and I guess scrape them out or whatever. I mean,
You
y'all,
can replace it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
replace
you
it.
can
Yeah,
replace
yeah.
it,
Just
yeah.
that would have to be replaced. But I just learned that on another house. I was like, wow, didn't know about that. So caution people when you're planting vegetation and trees. Make sure if you can that your pipes are not there or
That's
close to
right.
it
Or not
because
close to it,
yeah,
yeah.
because it can be an issue and a problem.
Definitely.
So now, are you guys hiring? Because I've been telling people for a couple of weeks now, DFW is hiring, and which they are. A lot of
Yeah.
companies are coming here, moving their operations here. I was saying earlier before you came in, Dallas College got $3.5 million for education because they need more engineers, more construction workers, HVAC, plumbing. They need these skilled talents is the word they like to use to go into the workforce
To meet the demand.
to meet the
of the
demand
world.
for what's
That's
happening.
right. Because
yeah.
they tell us every year, but I can't recall the numbers right now. But there's so many people here, and there's so few plumbers. Compared to the population.
Yeah.
Right.
So plumbers are scarce, and good plumbers are extremely scarce.
Right.
You get these guys. You get a lot of guys out there with any trade that'll do people wrong.
Yeah.
They'll go
Yeah.
in and overcharge them
Right.
or falsify some information and stuff. So I always tell people to try to find you a good guy and stick with him. If you can wait on him, wait on him.
Right.
Sometimes you can't because we get crazy busy at times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I try to make all my customers feel like they're number one.
Exactly
But there
right.
comes a time where you stretch too thin.
Yeah.
But as far as hiring, we're always looking for.
Okay.
Always
I
looking
had,
for
I
talent.
had, and I may have this wrong, so you have to correct me. But years ago, probably gonna say this is like 16, 17 years ago, might have been 18. But my hot water stopped working from my water heater, and so I called a company, and he was like, "You need a new water heater and all this
man.
stuff." And I was like, "Okay, thank you for your time." And so the way my brain works is I have to, I talk through things, and so a lot of people maybe lose patience with me because I really do talk through my thoughts. And so I heard everything he was saying. And it just didn't sit right with me. So I went to a parts store. And I was like, "Hey, if I'm not getting hot water," and I said, "Can I just simply replace a thermostat and see if that?" I said, "That would be cheaper than replacing a whole water." Yeah. And the person at the store was like, "Yeah, it would be." And I'm like, "Well, how much?" And at that time, the part was like $26. And so I knew somebody who worked maintenance for an apartment complex. I was like, "Hey, if I get you," remember Greg? I said, "If I get you a pack of cigarettes and a 6-pack of beer, will you put on this thermostat for me?" He's like, "Sure." Guess what? That was the problem. That was the only problem. But I would have, so $26, a pack of cigarettes and 6 beers versus, $600 at the time.
That's
you
right.
know?
So if you get a good quality guy, he's going to treat you. Because, guys got to understand, you're making money regardless. If I
Right.
come over and put the thermostat on, I'm making positive cash. If I
Right.
come over and change the water here, I'm making positive cash.
Right,
So
right.
don't try to, manipulate people or try to make more money.
Yeah.
Everybody's out to make money, but don't
Yeah.
try to, if you just do
Don't
people
try to
right.
take my water
that's
heater
right.
home to your house and put a thermostat on it.
And take it home. Yeah.
Tell it-
Yeah. I got this water here. Just change the thermostat. But it is wise and prudent to get several estimates before you take a job as well. I know your uncle up in Seattle, he had a backed up toilet, and he had a guy come out, and the guy said, "Oh, it's going to be $11,000. We got to dig up the yard. We got to do this.
Oh,
we got to
man.
do that."
no.
And he went
Just run a
to
snake.
he didn't do that.
You can
So,
stop it.
but what he did, he went to Walmart and got some lye imported
Oh,
in the
man.
toilet, and for
That
20
fixes-
bucks,
It worked.
and the guy talking about $11,000. So,
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
definitely get several quotes. I had windows put in my house recently, and I got quotes as high as 15,000, 10,000. You know, and I ended up going with well, I can say it, because I ended up going with Window World. They was like 7,500. You
Right.
know, triple
Okay,
pane
shout
windows
out
and
to
all that.
Window
So, you know, it's
World.
like,
I recently put Windows World in a rental property that I own.
Oh, yeah?
So yeah, I like their product.
Yeah,
They was
yeah.
reasonably priced, and then they came and did a really good
If
job.
y'all want to come on the show, no,
yep.
you're getting it.
But
Window World.
but yeah, but yeah, see, there you go. See
Yeah.
that, yeah. But I got quotes almost as twice as high, and the windows weren't any better quality. You know, they guaranteed that it was, you know, first run plastic, because as you recycle plastic, it does get weaker.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so
So how does someone get in contact with you, you know, because I mean, he has experience, he has a staff that's experienced, and so if someone needs you for commercial work or residential work, how do
They
they
can
get?
reach me in my office at 214-398-8165 or on my cell phone at 214-803-6939.
And Eccles and Sons has a website as well?
Yes. You know, I was talking to a friend of mine about that because I don't utilize my website a lot because
Okay.
we're a small company relatively, and you can get overwhelmed in a hurry
Gotcha.
if you start marketing on the web. We've been in business, like I said, I've been there 32 years. We've probably been 35, 37. So word of mouth is how we started. I think
Right.
when I first came over to Eccles, we did a little bit of marketing, a little bit of, you know, advertising and stuff, but it's just the company has been sustained by the quality of work over the years and
Right.
the honesty and treating people right and giving them
Yeah.
a fair price. And like I said, we hadn't got rich, but we've made a living.
Right.
And that's, you know,
that's all
what
that
you expect.
matters.
That's
Yeah.
right.
You know, you got me inspired. I might become a plumber. I may add that to my repertoire of things to do.
every time one of us has said plumbing, that Milestone commercial pops into my
No,
head.
man.
Plumbing.
Yeah. Right. But that's his competitor. So
You know, but I mean, it is good to see another person that has followed a dream and hung on to it, you know, because it is not always easy, but it is always rewarding.
It is. It's very rewarding.
Yeah.
You know, I never had any intent of running a plumbing company. When I got into plumbing, like I said, I was into commercial plumbing, and I always wanted to do a hospital project. Because as a superintendent of a hospital, there's plumbing in every room. You got the emergency rooms. You got
Yeah.
a lot of plumbing.
Yes.
So for a guy to be responsible for all that, you know, you have to be pretty sharp.
Right.
And I always felt that I was that sharp. But
Right.
when my dad and them started getting into bigger work, like I said, when they started out, we were just doing small little projects, and then our first $1 million project was the DART light rail facility when they came to town.
Okay.
And so we went through a lot of, and you know, getting our certifications and proving to them that we were capable, because
Right.
you know we were a small African American company, and a lot of people had a lot of doubts.
Right.
Because we had, I think to that point, our biggest job had probably been 250, 300.
Right.
So then to bite off something that big,
Right.
but they broke it down. Like I said, DART was real good to work for. The minority people on
The
their
division?
staff. Yeah, they
Yeah.
were really helpful, and it really got us out there, and we were able to benefit from that.
And so, a lot of people, I mean, not that if you need people to need you, but is there any advice that you would give someone out there to make their plumbing last? Like things not to flush and things
Oh.
not to put down
Number
the drain?
one thing, over the last couple of years here, the biggest problem we've been having are flushable wipes. They
Okay.
tell you that they're flushable, but they're not disposable.
Okay.
They don't dissolve like paper, and man, when we go, that thing is hard to clean out. So we get it's
Oh.
extra fees when we have to do, because you have to do multiple, you know,
Snakes is a
snakes.
long,
yeah,
yeah.
because
And
you're
then
going in, you're
sometimes-
pulling them out, and you're taking them off
What's
your
the
cable.
longest snake you have?
The longest one that we keep in stock is like 100 foot.
Yeah, see
Yeah.
that, yeah, and that's a lot just to kind of go through and to come, yeah.
That's right. Now we got a hydrojetter that'll go 250 feet.
So now,
We
do you
have to.
do the hydrostatic plumbing test for like when people are getting
Yeah,
their
when they're
foundation?
filling-
Or
yeah.
getting their phone. Okay, good. Okay, I was wondering.
Yeah, we do pressure test. Matter of fact, just today, we had a locating company to come out and camera a line, and the entire system under the house, under the slab foundation, has got to be replaced.
Wow.
So
How old is
those-
the house?
The house is not that old. And as far as, well, I guess it is. That house is, I would say, is probably 35, 40 years old.
Right.
But a cast iron system supposedly is supposed to last 100 years.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that guy's got to go now and replace all the pipes under there.
And that's $30,000.
Yeah, that's easy.
Yeah, yeah.
30,000. I'll tell them. You know, I've done them as cheap as 10,000 when it's a smaller house, and I've done them as much as 70,000.
Wow.
And so you imagine the guy coming to your house and telling you 70,000.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
You can be like, excuse my
You're like,
language.
are you crazy?
No, you're like, go to Home Depot and get these buckets, and I'm gonna show y'all how we are using the bathroom going forward.
That's right. But
Everybody has a
people get
bucket.
it done.
Yep. You're going to economize and get in shape because you got to carry these buckets. So,
On those appointments, I probably would come with the buckets. Like, this is your alternative. You can pay me, or I can leave this.
You can leave
I can leave you the
I
complimentary
can give you
bucket.
I can give you the econo toilet.
That's right.
Okay, so y'all do not flush the flushable wipes. I did not know that, so point
Yeah.
taken.
Well, I mean, there's good and bad everything. So, are there brands of them because I
Not
do
to my
see some of
knowledge.
them.
They'll say that. Now there may be,
Yeah.
but to our I don't know any.
Yeah.
You know, I don't have any that I could recommend to people. Go, well,
Yeah.
use Johnson and Johnson or use.
Oh,
You know.
okay.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that I know in the last 2 to 3 years we've been having an enormous amount of stoppages from those things because they get in there and they get hung up. And especially that, you know, if you got an elderly person or somebody's coming in, that's where we really, because we maintain a lot of nursing home facilities. And so
Okay.
those nurses go in and they flushing those things. And then
Yeah.
even in home care, when people
Right.
health
Yeah.
home care come to people's homes, you know, the box says disposable, so they use them and throw them and flush them. And they do flush away. but
Yeah.
They
don't
just
go
don't.
away.
They just don't go
That's
where they
right.
go. So that's good information.
Yeah.
Right. So don't use those.
And of course, the kids don't flush the toys down there.
Don't
Yeah.
flush
So-
don't flush Tommy Teddy Bear down the down the toilet.
Right, right.
What's the strangest thing that you've seen flushed down the toilet?
The strangest thing, I tell you, the strangest thing was a pair of glasses that I just and I've been doing it a long time. And this lady had some really expensive sunglasses. She was in a high-end neighborhood, and for some reason, her cat put them in there
Oh, Lord.
and flushed them.
Oh, wow.
And
Cat's
they
like,
went
"You ain't paying
down
attention to
and
me."
through. And she called and she told us that, you know, what had happened or
Right.
what she thought had happened because she didn't really know where they were, but she knew where she had them and she knew what had been going on in the bathroom. And we went and took her toilet up and had to take it back the other way. And sure enough, there they were. And they were, what she told me, they were quite expensive.
Gosh. And so, yeah, I'd be like, okay, well, that I don't buy expensive sunglasses like that where I'm going to take up the toilet and have a plumber like
that's
that.
right.
That's-
So, you know, but then she got rid of them because she's the caliber of lady that wouldn't wear glasses.
after they've been in the toilet, yeah.
That's right.
So they ended up in somebody's secondhand store somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere.
That's an interesting one. And they say cats, you can train them to use the bathroom and flush the toilet.
Oh, yeah. I never knew that.
That's probably what her cat did.
Yeah. I guess the cat was like, "You ain't paying attention to me, and I've had it."
How about now?
Exactly. So now, are there any big things that you guys are looking forward to? As far as the company, any accolades?
Right now, we've got our feelers out. We, like I said, at one point we were up to 40 guys. That's when we were kind of doing some of the bigger projects. So now we're down to about 8 guys. Like I said, when the economy crashed in 2008, that took us down. And then things started building back up. I probably got up to about 12 guys, but now I'm back
Right.
down a little. But just here, in May, we started back trying to get back out in the
Build
big
up.
commercial field. Yeah. What a lot of guys don't know, they see a lot of public work. Public work is one thing, private work is another. I kind of got out of the public work because the money comes faster in private. They've got the funding. Most projects in private, most projects in public have the funding, but it's just the politics.
Yeah.
To get
The
to it.
bureaucrats of it, yeah. When I was telling you about when we were doing the airport project, at one point we had went 4 months without getting a check. Well, when the giant owner DFW and the giant owner Austin Industries are at differences, they've got the money to keep going.
Right.
But
Yeah.
the small guys, man,
Yeah.
that project, it was some pretty good companies that went out because
Right.
there was one big union company that was out there working, when I talked to the guy, he said, "Man, my payroll was about $200,000 a week." So you imagine going 4 months without getting
Right.
money. Yeah, he couldn't stand it anymore.
Right.
So they had to pack up. But those are some of the horror stories you hear. You know, people see big numbers on big projects and they think it's all gravy.
Yeah.
Man,
no.
this is a death sentence for a lot of people. Because
Yeah,
the money just
yeah.
don't come as fast. But
Exactly, and you got to wait for them to
Yeah.
give it to you, whenever that is.
Yeah, you got to
Yeah.
be able to play the game. That's what we call it.
Yeah.
Got to play the
Yeah.
game, man, and they'll test you. They'll test your strength. A lot of
Yeah.
times when you're working for guys, they'll see if you can stand it, because if you can't stand it, there's a clause in your contract that says you must. They'll pay you when they get paid. Like I said, that big company didn't have the money to pay everybody because the owner wasn't paying them.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and the owner just they holding you with the iron fist because it's an enormous amount of money,
Right.
and it's got to happen. And so they keep pushing, and so you have to keep pushing. And then
Right.
if you too weak and you have to fall off, they'll get some other guy to put right in your spot,
Right.
and they'll keep the job moving.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
Yeah,
right.
exactly.
You're
And
gonna say the strong
you'll
survive.
get paid. Yeah,
Yeah.
the strong survive. So, I being self-employed, I say all the time, you know, it's not easy. It's very hard. It's very taxing, because you work, you know, not just for yourself but for your employees. You have
that's right.
all these families that are dependent upon you. And I've said a lot of times I've been self-employed since 2000, a long time, and a lot of families, you know, have been dependent upon you. So you think about, you know, all the people that you impact, and it's not easy.
It's not.
You know.
No.
So you'd be like, no stress.
But to me, the most rewarding thing is the freedom.
Yeah, that is
You
nice.
know, when my girls were small and in school, I could always go to any event they had.
Yeah.
You know, and didn't have to answer to anybody.
Yeah.
You know, about it. So, you know, I think for me, that's what kept me. Well, that's one thing that kind of kept me self-employed, or wanting to stay self-employed
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
Now I don't know. I think about just getting a job and
Yeah, I know.
riding it out. You know?
I look at. I know I was driving today, and I was like, you know, you know, you'll have that thought from time to time, like I wouldn't have to worry about nobody,
Yeah.
nothing.
Just get my check on Friday.
Get my check and just be good. And it's just like, yeah, no. I'm like, at this point, I feel like I'm unemployable. Like,
Yeah, that's right. I've said
you
the
know,
same thing.
Yeah, it's just like, yeah, it's like,
You know, for somebody
Yeah.
to call you up and go, "Where are you? What do you mean where I'm where I'm
Yeah.
at? I'm
Yeah.
always doing something positive, you know, try to make money, but you
Yeah.
have to be doing it for somebody else, and they can't question you.
Yeah, they
I mean, when
can,
you work
yeah.
for somebody,
Well, yeah, you know, and
not to say that we don't question ourselves.
that's right.
You be like, okay, what are you doing to make money?
Yeah.
And you got to kick your own self in the butt, you know. So I just came back from vacation. I was in my mind. I was like, okay, I'm hitting the ground running. You
Mm-hmm.
know, I'm doing this. I'm doing this. I'm doing this. And so, and trying to execute those things, because
Yeah.
you got to make sure.
So when you
business
come back,
can
yeah,
do.
it's time to get back at it.
Yeah, exactly. So work mode. Now, is there any other business that you ventured into, or you know?
No,
It's always been plumbing. You didn't
now
paint?
as a young man, I went to work for a construction company out of Fort Worth, and I ended up being a concrete assistant foreman. Excuse me. And that was a good trade. It's hard work. Pouring cement is hard work, but as a young man, what they call it, you have to have a willing mind and an able body.
an able body, right?
And
The two go hand in hand.
That's right. That's right. Concrete work, it's rewarding. I mean, it's something that really helped me over the years, because as a plumbing contractor, you go into facilities and you cut out the concrete floor to put in the new plumbing. Then I could always put that money in my pocket, pouring it back, rather
'Cause you
than
knew
having
how
to sub it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it helps. So you didn't. There's not anything else you wanted to do. You didn't want to. You have a garden. Do you plant your tomatoes? What do you do to relieve the plumbing stress?
Plumbing. I always tell people, if I could run a business the way I can do plumbing, I'd have been a millionaire 10 times over.
Right, yeah.
Because plumbing just comes so natural, because
Yeah.
I enjoy it so much.
Right. It's therapeutic.
Yeah, it is. It is because, and, especially when you go through the stress of running the business and dealing with all the headaches that come along with it. When you can just go on a job, and sometimes I'll take little side jobs, what you call them, even though you own the company. You take
Right.
little weekend projects and you go over and you just kind of go and you work. You
Yeah.
don't get in a hurry. You just
Yeah,
thinking, I still got it.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
you
yeah.
get back and you're looking at it, and you take pride in it.
Right.
And that's
You
and
can
that's one thing.
diagnose it.
That's right. I instill in all my guys is take pride in what you do.
Amen to
Because
that.
when I was young and I was crawling around under houses, I used to look at the work when I would go under there.
Yeah.
You know, I said, man, a quality guy did this. So I said it in my mind, when somebody come behind me in 20,
Yeah.
30 years and they look at my work, I want them to think the same thing.
Right.
Yeah.
A guy that did
Yeah.
this knew what he was doing. He did a quality job.
That's important to take pride in what you do.
Definitely.
There is such a lack of that in the business world today, which is one of the reasons why it's hard to find good staff because
Yeah, that's right.
because there is a lack of just taking pride. But if you don't take pride in the things you do, before long, there's no pride in the home you walk into. There's no pride in the vehicle you drive. There's no pride in how you carry yourself. You know, it just kind of you know that negative aura just kind of festers, and before you know it, you know you've become the butt crack plumber.
Now,
And you don't care, right?
And you don't care.
Yeah,
Right. And you don't care if you're the
Right.
butt crack plumber.
I have a question. How long do toilets last? Like, I mean, like, you know, people change out their mattress. Like, how often should a person change out their toilet?
That's a good question. Been a porcelain product, it's just, I guess it depends on how much usage. You know, it's just like with water heaters. People always ask me, how long will a water heater last? I have been to homes that the water heater's been there 30 years. You know, and then I went to homes, we've got customers where I've had to change theirs every 6 years, every 6 to 7 years.
Right.
Yeah, it just depends on the number of people that live in the house, how much is used. Because of hot water heater being consistently used, going up and down. Because every time that fire come on, that thing heats, the metal expands and contracts.
Right.
So they'll wear out faster. And then
Gotcha.
the quality of the water makes it different. The water that's going into the heater.
Yeah, but water's softer.
Yeah, so
or
I
not.
would say a good toilet, and a good toilet is a good toilet. You know, you see Home Depot have toilets that are as low as probably $79,
Yeah.
and then you
Right.
see them that are $700.
Right.
You know, I'm not saying you have to buy seven, but I've always been a guy that buy mid-grade.
Right.
So if I was buying a customer a toilet, it'd probably be a $230 or $40
Yeah.
toilet.
Right.
You know, because when I built my house, that's what I put in my house.
Right.
And I've been there 18 years, and I haven't had to change out a toilet
Right.
to date.
Gotcha.
Yeah, so that it
Makes
depends on the
difference.
usage, yeah.
Okay.
But I always get a good toilet. You don't have to flush it 2 or 3 times
Right.
So,
to
so
get it
do you
done.
do the plumbing at your house, or do you let your staff do it?
You know what? I have to do it. The boss at the house.
Y'all heard the laugh back
I
there.
know. He has his own plumbing.
You know, because
Yeah.
I'm from a plumbing family. You know,
Right,
the
yeah.
irony of that is my brother's a plumber, my dad, my uncle, and one of my real good friends is the chief plumbing inspector for the city of Dallas.
Right.
And my wife always tease me if something go wrong at the house. Do I need to call your brother? I go call him.
I
I tell him better yet.
I ain't gonna let him do it, but you can call us.
Better yet, I tell him some of those big box company names. Call them and see what they tell you it costs.
Right,
You'll let
yeah.
me do it. Yeah, she'll wait.
Exactly. She'll wait. You get to it when you get to it.
Well, I get the clock on the wall says we don't have to go home, but we got to get the out of here. So
Yes.
you know, Raymond, thank you
Oh,
for
it was a pleasure,
coming and
man.
hanging out with us. I know you kind of did
Yeah.
this last
Excuse my
minute.
tardiness,
Oh,
but,
no, you're fine. You're fine. We're just
but
so
I got as
honored
fast
you
as I
came
could.
and you gave us some good information. And hopefully our audience will definitely reach out to Eccles and Sons Plumbing because they do commercial and residential. They have cumulative years of experience and they're reliable and they're honest. So you definitely want to have someone working on your home or your business that's honest and it's going to take care of you.
Yep.
That's right.
And that's
Yeah.
and basically if they've been around, they're gonna warranty the work. You know, that's one thing. You have
Right.
somebody come in and do something and they're nowhere to be found, and you have to refix
Yeah.
it again.
And I was taught that when your name is on it, it makes a difference.
There you
Yeah.
go.
And,
Yeah.
Because it's
and
always
again, if
associated
they've been
to you.
around 30 years, they've treated a whole bunch of people right.
Yeah.
Talking about generations of people. So
Yeah.
Right.
you know,
That's
That's
right.
right.
so again, Eccles and Sons Plumbing, because you're actually the son, although you're the
Yeah,
owner, you're
I'm
the
owner
son.
now.
And the nephew, no.
A lot of people ask
nephew.
me, are you the Eccles or the son? I go, really? I'm both now.
Yeah. You
I've
know,
worked
Yeah.
my way to the top.
so if you need some plumbing done, remember Eccles and Sons Plumbing. If you're looking to get work, remember to get them certifications, but give them a call. Your number one more time, really quickly.
My office, 214-398-8165, or on my cell phone at 214-803-6939.
Excellent.
Okay.
Excellent. And so as we say,
As we say, well, we will be back next week, same facts time, same facts channel.
and love yourself so you
because-
can love somebody else.
There you go. We will see y'all next week. Thank you, Facebook family, TikTok. Thank all of y'all for hanging out with us.
Yes.
We really appreciate it, and we will see you next week. Take
See y'all
care.
next week. Peace.
This is JR.
SpeakNFacts with Charlie and JR, broadcasting live each week on Wednesday at 7 p.m. from